Okay, so fuck, I already hit the tripod, god damn it. I forgot my leg was super close to the stand. My boy. I don't know why I'm doing the Western accent immediately, but anyways, welcome back to hashtag Viggy stream on the Viggy, right? At this point, I'm just trying to really fucking put the the name everywhere, right? Isn't that branding? That's what branding is. But yes, we're continuing onwards with this drawing. I have some ideas now, right? There's a lot of things that are just not working, but I will try to do my best to, as I always fucking jerk off about, right? Effort. I will put as much effort as I can to effortfully effort, you know. So, but I don't know if I'm live. Actually, am I live? I am live. Wonderful. One watching already? Who's watching me? Is it me? No. All right, and the audio seems to be good, right? My really grating voice to the ear seems to be grating your ear. So please draw along, join me, right? Let us draw lettuce. Let us draw lettuce. A funny joke because he said the word. But okay, so obviously, what is the intent for this practice? Yesterday I was very distracted with the chat and I didn't set an intent, right? The intent is make lots of effort, make lots of mistakes. The intent is gonna be the same fucking thing every single time. This is just for me to reframe or reaffirm my mindset, right? So I'm gonna put in a lot of effort. I'm going to try to make it compositionally interesting. I'm going to try to design interesting things. But preceding the backbone of all of that is I'm just going to make a lot of effort to visualize and to build the skill of talking while visualizing while responding to chat, essentially. To be a god, as they say, an art god. So yeah, with that being said, let's start. Um, yeah, let me do what I always do, which is just add random shit. Actually, this probably should have some clearings, right? By the way, my hands are very unstable right now, or my fingers, I guess you could say. My fingies are very unstable, which should hopefully inspire you that no matter what. See, what the fuck was that line? I don't know if you. Oh, Jesus Christ, bro! Can you see? I know I draw really tiny lines, but I wonder if anybody can see just how crazy unstable my fingers are, right? And yeah, I hope that's inspiring, right? Because it's like, wow, he's so good, but he's so bad. Eh. Okay. Obviously, I need to be following the contour. So again, just need to keep visualizing and trying my best to visualize and make as many mistakes as possible, right? I assume everybody's at work right now because everybody has a job unlike me. So we will just talk to ourselves, right? We will talk to ourselves, and it'll be a great conversation where I self flagellate is not the word. I think that's just me beating the shit out of myself, whipping myself, right? It's a funny word though, but and I don't even think any of that is necessary. This is just me and noodling around, as they say. But let's start. So I want it to be very clear that this foreground and background, right? And I think I can make this tree look. I know it probably doesn't look like a tree right now, but I think I can make it look relatively interesting. And you'll notice that my lines are really breaky, not because that's an intentional decision. It's not a stylistic decision. It's due to pure lack of confidence and knowledge when it comes to knowing how to draw a tree, the type of tree that I'm drawing, right? So that is something to note as well, right? Is that it really just any decision making that you see, whether it's shaky or not shaky, usually comes down to a lack of confidence, right? So obviously to set scale, I do believe that we need to ensure that this is really thin, right? And obviously I want to try, I guess, well, we can say it's like the dead of winter. I know there's grass, but we can just say it's the dead of winter. Winter. What the hell, Viggy? When did you become Kim Jong-il 2.0? These are great. Pixel art JJ. Thank you, dude. I'm nowhere near Kim Jong-il, but I hope the point being proven that when you just go fucking autistic on form, line, and perspective, that there's actually a decent amount you can accomplish, right? You can really fraud your understanding and lines. That's been my experience. I actually don't know if anybody's ever done something like this, right? I'm not saying I'm the first, but to this extent and to record it, I actually don't know if this is something that's been done, right? So I might be one of the first, I guess, public individuals to showcase that the how like what just going kind of min-maxing on a few specific things that are important for learning a specific skill, what they can really do for you, right? Sup, Biggie, smiley face. Hey, hello, Cal Bishop M-MO7DE. I'm just gonna dox every single one of you. I'm gonna make sure, even when I have like 5 million subscribers, right? Which will happen, and I'm sure many of you believe in me, right? I'm specifically gonna, I'm not even gonna draw anymore. The entire live stream is just gonna be me reading out all your names, and I'll just write it down, and we'll make sure there's IP addresses involved as well. But yeah, I think I'm starting to understand, right? But yeah, I'm not Kim Jong-il. Not yet. Not yet. Give me 30, 40 years, because he drew for 30, 40 years, and he drew a lot more than I did, right? But I believe my advantage is that Kim Jong-il still stumbled, right? And I obviously will stumble as well. But Kim Jong-il specifically, like when it came to form and all that stuff, like he didn't have a Kim Jong-il to learn from, right? He had other great artists. Norman Rockwell, from my understanding, was one of his really, really, really big influences, right? He had a lot of great artists, or great draftsmen. I forgot to mention that in my beginner artist video, right? But he had a lot of great influences. But my advantage is literally that I can just look at him and be like, I'm just literally just gonna do. And there are many other artists I'm inspired by, but I know some people will tire from hearing that Kim Jong-il is so prolific and influential, but he is for me, and I think yeah, my advantage is just I can be like, okay, so let's see how far min-maxing form and line of perspective, and then just launch padding off of that, a la the Artwad method, which is basically what they believe as well. Like, let's see how far that can get me. And the answer is 3 years, 3 weeks in, relatively far. So yeah, anybody who's here, draw along, right? I'm trying really hard to talk and to draw. By the way, that's a skill, okay? At this point, you should all be used to me just fucking calling everything a skill, because everything is a skill, right? To the best of our knowledge and our ability. That was a mistake. See, I wasn't thinking there, and that was a huge mistake. And I was like, okay, how can we make that not a mistake? I'm just gonna ignore it. I'm just gonna completely ignore it. Pretend like it doesn't exist. And when you pretend like it doesn't exist, right? The critiques don't also do not exist. This pen is also dying, so I may have to switch pens at one point, right? But how can we make this tree look interesting, right? Because I obviously want to keep the branches relatively thin. We want to, and what does a tree even look like? I haven't done the environment road, so I can't really say with confidence that I know the forms of a tree, but can I try? Of course I can try. But Pixel Art JJ, do you do any Artwad exercises, bro? All I do is Artwad exercises. Go on my literally go on my channel. Click on my channel. 300 videos. 270 I believe are specifically like the main videos, not the live streams or shorts. Right, but yeah, that literally all I do is Artwad exercises. I did broken draws exercise recommendations for a while, and I didn't stop because any particular reason. But I was like, let me just focus on one thing at a time. Right, dude, this pen is dying. Okay, I'm getting a new pen. You guys are about to notice when I get a new pen that the the line work is gonna be a lot harder, because like let me just show how much this pen is dying. Right, like it's literally dying. I could let it rest upside down or something and let all the ink get to it, but the remaining ink. But let me just get a new pen. Right, I'm really happy. Look at that, 9 people watching. That's insane. I never had 9 people watching before. This entire year, from December when I started the channel to when I started live streaming in I think March or April. I only had like 2 to 3 people watching. One time I had 12, and I was like, holy shit. Right, and it's crazy. Now on average it seems to be 9, I guess, 8 to 9. I really appreciate all of you who are interested. I would appreciate it more if you guys drew along. If you're doing this for entertainment, that's completely fine by me. But I'm just trying to encourage. Let's all draw together and then come on the floor. Oh wait, no wait, it's streaming on the floor. Sorry, I forgot my own little joke. But Cal Bishop, I started Artwad a couple days ago. My brain is fucking bursting trying to understand perspective. LMAO, 100%. So you understand, and that is literally what I'm iterating. Is, dude, like it is a fucking insane skill to build, right? Like think about it. You're trying to see grid lines. You're literally trying to build the ability to see grid lines, right? That doesn't take weeks. That takes years. It took me 3 years, right? And like really just 8 months of autistic, just fucking boxes and cylinders perspectives. And the beauty is like once you start to be able to try, you're like, okay, so I can just keep trying at this level. And then let's say you get to a point where you can start visualizing kind of planes that are kind of parallel. And you're like, oh, wait, if I think back about 4 months ago, I couldn't even see a line on the page or in my mind or a combination. I couldn't see any of that. So clearly, I'm on the right path, right? You have to extend the time horizon. Do not never think in days or weeks, right? Always think in years and decades, always, because that's actually what's going to help you the most. That's actually what's going to help you the most. Let's see. And I don't mean like you're allowed to think in days and weeks in terms of like how do like what you want to like what am I gonna do tomorrow? Okay, I'm gonna practice the same thing I practiced today. But what do I want to focus on? Well, I really, really want to get down the line qualities. So like I'll obviously visualize and I'll obviously ghost, but I really want to focus on line quality. Let's just spend today focusing on line quality. What am I trying to focus on today? Composition. Does that mean I'm not thinking about lines? Does that mean I'm not visualizing? Does that mean I'm not doing any like all those other sub skills and meta skills and additional skills? No. But I am thinking primarily about composition, right? So, what brand is your brush? Oh, the most retarded fucking name in the world. But I love Pentel. Please sponsor me. Brush sign pen artist. Bro, just call it a brush pen. Just call it like thin brush pen 2.0 or some shit, right? And then you got to learn about camera lenses and cone of vision. Exactly. So the thing about learning any skill that is difficult is that it is a skill that is difficult. And as beginners, we don't really understand what that means, right? We think it's kind of, what is it, like informed optimism and then, no, uninformed optimism and then informed pessimism, right? That's the whole like Dunning-Kruger effect that Antonio from ArtWatch talks a lot about in his videos, right? But the best thing you can do is just focus on a couple things at a time. You acknowledge the path and then you get excited. You're like, okay, so in my lifetime, I can most likely learn about half, 50 to 60% of this. But that means 50 to 60% of this extremely difficult skill is still fucking excellent. It's still extremely impressive for my own standards and for the average people's standards, right? But your own standards are super high. So you're like, for my standards, learning 50 to 60% of this all-encompassing infinite skill of art, right, is already like that is beautiful and that's incredible and like holy shit. And then you're like, okay, so there's 100 things and I have six, let's just say you're my age. Let's just say 25, 30, 40, whatever. Let's say minimum, even if you started at 80, right? You have 20 years to learn, let's say like 60 to 100 things. So you're like, okay, so I just spend a year or two and I just keep learning 2 to 3 things at a time, right? So it's just about breaking it down because that's why you think in years. It's thinking in months is really just going to make you think, and it's going to a not frame things correctly for you, and it's also going to make you think that that you're running out of time. I understand that there are people who are trying to get into concept art, right? I'm not trying to get into concept art. I'm just trying to become a god. And I'm just recording the process of becoming a god. So everybody knows like here's how you become a god, right? Will I be a god at everything? No, but the things I want to get good at, I will be a god at, right? So it's really just for me, watch me become great. And I have my own goals, right? Animorphs manga, Animorphs fan manga, right? One of the greatest sci-fi stories I've ever read, Scholastic, right? Who knows? Scholastic might just fucking ban the shit out of that, but it doesn't matter. I feel as if the whole point is like I showcase the art process. This is my little I guess sneaky little way of going about it, right? I showcase the art process. I get really good, right? I get really fucking good, and I give, right? I will get millions of followers. So when I do the Animorphs fan manga in like a couple decades, right? The goodwill has been built. The goodwill has been built, and the fact that this man spent decades of his life to bring to light and to essentially to the new generation and to showcase the beauty of this story. If they try stopping that, and here's just me assuming, right? I could be completely wrong, but if they try stopping that there's gonna be a lot of fucking what's it called? Lashback, right? Backlash. Sorry, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of backlash. I just fucked that up. But yeah, that's just my assumption. I could be completely wrong, right? But I'm gonna still gonna try. I'm gonna try or I'm gonna die, right? So, uh, Pixel RJJ said, "Ah, I have the same. I don't know what you're referring to, so I'm sorry. I don't know what you're referring to, dude. I have a, I just don't know what I talk about a lot of the times. But this is actually pretty fun, and I think this is starting to look like a tree a little bit, right? Whatever my understanding of a tree is. The question is, how do we just want to keep making it relatively interesting. And the one thing I actually did never liked, and Antonio from Artwad has this issue too. I don't think it's his fault, but I'm gonna say I'm a beginner in a lot of things, right? So when it comes to design, when they say things like interesting shapes, that word means fuck all to me, right? Because what is an interesting shape? If we break it down, because those are just words, you need to break down the word. Oh, the brush pen. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, cool, cool. But when you break down words, right? Interesting is too vague and the context is lost. So we have to say interesting design in art. And even then, it's like, okay, let's specify a bit further. Interesting design in art means angles, means ratios of angles to lengths of ratios of angles to specific curves to gestures to intents. And there's like a bit of there's a pretty established formula of design that can be followed, but a lot of it is experimentation and there's 3D space and there's mark making and decision making. And all of that is balanced within also understanding human psychology and like what we find to be aesthetic. And this is truly only achieved after years and years and years of experimentation and just trying to keep these things in mind. And that is interesting. Right? So it's we need more specificity. And again, we need to think like we need to think about beginners not because like we need to cater to beginners, but we need to think about beginners when it comes to how do you explain a concept that anybody can understand, right? To the best of our ability. I know I'm not the best at explaining things, so I do apologize when, like my girlfriend says, like sometimes you use words that are just unnecessarily complex or large or have too many syllables, right? Sometimes you just hammer the same point again and again and again and again, and I do all of those. I do all of those, right? So while I'm trying to work on it, personally for me, I feel as if hammering the same point again and again and again really helps me understand things, right? Like and that's why I do say that my content won't resonate with everyone because personally I believe most people need just consistent reminders, right? We don't really need to learn new things. How do you get good at art? Practice the fundamentals. What are the fundamentals? You do a little bit more research. Okay, you get like 7 things that are fundamentals. And then within each fundamentals, there's like 15 things that you really got to get down, right? Okay, cool. And then it's just about decision making. And then that's where that's where knowledge comes into play because some people will start with the wrong fundamentals and there are wrong fundamentals to start with. I don't think it makes sense to start with lighting, right? Or values if you don't understand the form that your lighting and values are coming from, right? That is my opinion, but I think it's a pretty fucking reasonable opinion to be honest, right? But and I think that's where the value of having people to remind you and to inform you like, hey, these are the things you can focus on comes into play, right? So that's just what I think. That doesn't look like a bad tree. I completely fucked this up yesterday again. I wasn't thinking. Today I'm really thinking. I'm thinking while explaining, while talking, like all these different skills, right? If there's anything you can ever take away from my content, anything at all, is just everything is a skill, which means everything can be learned, which means everything requires a lot of effort to be learned, and that I can put in that effort. And I will get better at putting in effort the more I try to put in effort, right? That's really like the crux of everything I try to quote unquote teach because I'm still super, super, super fucking new to everything. But if that's like one lesson that I've learned that I can pass on to the next generation, right? It's you get better at putting in effort when you continue to try to put in effort, right? And doing difficult things, right? Doing difficult things. See, there's a mistake here, so like that is connected to that, but now what's this connected to? So I gotta do something like that, and then it kind of just blends in, and your mind makes sense of it as it will. Yeah, okay, pixel art JJ. Yeah, I don't know why art teachers liked start with shading. Yeah, and they put the laughing crying emoji. Very apt use of the emoji. I am crying while laughing right now. It's true, but um, no, that's just that is the fallacy, which is why I made that. Hey, beginners, watch this video, right? It's my magnum opus in terms of I truly feel like I connected, hopefully, with as many beginners as possible. And I hope that video just continues to pop off. I really hope, right? Not even like, oh, I want to get likes and subscribers, even though I'm obsessively checking my subscriber count and retention because of that video. But really, more than anything, um, yeah, I want to make it very clear that like there are people out there who are beginners. And hey, I remember, like, I literally made that video because I don't want to forget. And I remember what's your favorite thing to draw? There's no favorite thing to draw. I just like challenging myself, So my favorite thing would just be whatever's really difficult. But right now, obviously, I'm really focused on hard surface. I'm really focused on hard surface mechanical design because that really challenges your spatial reasoning, and function, right? So like after this stream, I'll be spending a few streams. And by the way, don't expect this level of streaming regularity. I'm going to tell you guys right now. Expect regularity in my videos because they're always going to be Tuesday to Saturday at 6:15 p.m. Right? Like my actual practice videos. I'm just taking a break from doing that practice and I'm just drawing right now. I'm just trying to relax. Because by the end of the year, I tend to get pretty tired, like mentally, of all the effort I put in. Because I have a pretty rigorous schedule: piano, gym, art, coding now, right? Lifting, stretching, eating. Eating does take time, and it does take effort, especially if you're bulking. But yeah, yeah. So this streaming is not regular, but I hope you guys do enjoy it. But I don't really have a favorite thing. But yeah, what I was trying to say, Jesus Christ, I can't fucking focus clearly. Is I don't have a favorite thing I like to draw. I just like to draw things that challenge me. Like I right now, clearly my favorite thing always is just spatial reasoning. I just like to draw really complex shapes and try to make sense of them and stuff. Right? But anyways, what I was saying is like a lot of our teachers just don't know. They can't relate to beginners. I'm sorry, they just can't. It's not even to be mean. It's just a human thing to forget the effort you put in. Because if we were to keep in mind everything that we ever did at all times, whenever we were doing any sort of learning experience, it would be like our mind would be too occupied trying to recall all that stuff, right? Which is where neuroplasticity, intuition, the fact that we can learn is the beautiful part of learning, right? But and that's the thing, right? A lot of our teachers say shit like just a basic understanding of perspective, that's all you need. And then it's like it's a fucking intermediate to advanced understanding of perspective. It does not make sense. It just doesn't make sense, right? So are you self-teaching piano? Oh, no, 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 no. I am not self-teaching piano. I feel as if art has a lot more leisure when it comes to teaching because art is a very visual skill, right? Art is a very like it's not that hard to self-teach in art. The problem with art is being able to understand where to start and then being able to understand how to put an effort. Teachers are still great in art. Teachers, because again, with piano, the reason I'm not taking a teacher is because I don't know what good finger posture is, right? I don't know what good like form is. I don't know what specific techniques, right? There's too much. And that's why obviously like I think especially with learning an instrument, teachers are important because they can immediately spot be like that's not working, right? But with art, because it's such a visual medium, we can actually take the initiative to analyze and be like, okay, really pay attention to what these people that look up to us saying, right? Like really, really pay attention. Okay, what's the common sentiment, right? What's something I find admirable? For me, I'll give an example, right? I kept watching people like Peter Han, Kim Jong-gi, what's it called? Dong Ho Kim, right? Broken Draw as well. Antonio Staperis, like all these people, and I'm just like, okay, they hold their pen at the halfway point. That means they use their fingers to draw. What does that mean? I need excellent motor skills at the halfway point, and I need to be able to have an incredibly wide range of motion at any angle, at any point, at any like thing, right? Okay, so I know just to min max that, right? What else? Form. Antonio breaks it down perfectly. He gives you the exercises. You do 100 times more than he requests. That's fine. That's just like I don't even have to think. I just have to do it, right? How do we make it more complex? Artwa doesn't have anything on mechanical design, right? And they're getting rid of some things that they do have, right? So in that vein, it's like, okay, well, now I have to keep looking at examples and I have to make my own assumptions on what makes mechanical design, right? Try to watch YouTube videos, all that stuff, right? But I think with an instrument with piano, it's much harder to self-teach. I know people who have, but I've noticed consistently, like my piano teacher even said, like people who self-teach, the form really goes to shit. Literally, like the form of the fingers, not, haha, not the perspective form. But yeah, no, I'm just learning. I'm learning piano as is, right? And again, everything art taught me how to learn, right? So art taught me that I just have to put in a lot of effort. I have to attach dopamine and feel good when I make a lot of mistakes, right? And then I just have to focus on that, and that's my effort, right? And just keep trying to have as many things in my mind as possible while I'm putting that effort in, right? Within reason, like 3 to 4 things. Just keep trying to do that, right? And now I'm practicing solfeggio, which is a level 8 piece, and I started practicing piano January 29th, 2024. So it's been almost 2 years, and apparently, according to my teacher, that is incredible progress, right? But I also practice 5 days a week. I practice on average 4 to 5 hours a week, right? But I think the answer is the effort still matters a lot more. I hope that answers your question. Yes, 7 people watching. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I hope you guys are, and girls. Well, there's just like fucking 8% of this channel is is 8% of it is a female audience, and I get it when women hear "What's up, fuckers? What's up, cunts?" Right? What's up? Whatever else bullshit I say, right? It was not very feminine. It was not very welcoming, right? They truly do appreciate the kindness, and I understand that women do appreciate kindness. Unfortunately, I'm a dickhead. So take that as you will. I'm trying to create graphic shapes, but do I understand? The thing is, I don't understand shadows, right? And I don't really have a lighting in mind. Uh, Probably very evidently through my fucking um drawing in of itself, right? You know what? We should probably because if we're trying to make the scope of this seem a lot more intense, we should probably make what's it called? This tree a lot bigger. So my composition that I had in mind is like initially I wanted maybe I was like this is a hill and there's a castle back there, and then I'm like, you know what? I still want to draw something another person type thing because I don't know figure, I don't know portraits, but I've been looking at a lot of medieval stuff when it comes to drawing, right? And this is what I'm about to do is what I learned from yeah, rendering in pen and ink, right? And obviously in areas of what I believe to be shadow, there will be a lot more yeah, a lot more I guess what you could say clusters of these shapes, right? These leaf type shapes that I'm trying to make, right? But oh, I have a question to those of you who are commenting or maybe listening or watching, right? How did you find me? How do you like the content, right? That's the only question I have. I don't really care about critique or like what your opinion of me is, right? Because your opinion will either be like, oh, you're a shit talker, you're annoying, or you're actually funny and I like you, right? Or somewhere in between. So I already know what all the opinions about me will be, right? So, that's called ego. I already know everything. But you see, like these new pens, I don't know why. Like, is my fucking pen pressure like output too good now? What the fuck? Like, why? Why am I struggling? And I don't even know if I'm drawing this tree properly. Right, but it's okay. It's okay. I only hate myself. It's okay. Yeah, like we're trying to create scale. So it's what it is. But what else can I talk about? Well, I guess so this is the thing like gesture, right? Gesture, composition, lines. Like, okay, how do we create because this is maybe a bit too small. Like how do we create interesting shapes, you know? Obviously I want to have it have a flow. And I think thinking about that, not I think, and thinking about that is also a skill, right? I found you in the Broken Draw stream. Oh, nice, nice. Oh, oh, what the fuck? Yeah, both people found me in a Broken Draw stream. Literally the exact same sentence too. I found you in the Broken Draw stream, and you guys both put a space between broken and draw. What the fuck? What a coincidence! Incredible. Found you from Broken Draw and find your grind crazy motivating. Okay, so most people found me from Broken Draw. Nice, nice. Tyrion doing Lord's work by well, initially shilling my content. Now he's like, sorry, bro, can't do that anymore, which is completely fine. Fucking, I love that guy. Honestly, Tyrion's such a good person, right? And he also works very hard, and I really appreciate that about him, right? See, like these are too similar, but that's a skill, right? I need to like making graphic pleasing shapes is a skill. Uh, yeah, thank you for finding my grind motivating. Um, Again, we're going to replace the word grind with consistent effort and learning to consistent effort and mistakes and attaching um, enjoyment to that effort and mistakes. That is like associating dopamine with effort and making mistakes, right? So it's difficult. I find that it's difficult. That's why I made that video, right? Because like I can only say the same things in so many ways, but at the same time, I'm just finding it a bit hard to like there's too much nuance when you draw or when you get even halfway proficient at something. Imagine, I'm sure any of you have stuck to something for at least like a month, right? And in the beginning of the month you know nothing, and the end of the month you know a little bit more, right? So you're like, okay, I can explain a bit more. You know, but it's still like generally pretty foundational, basic, all that stuff. But now, if imagine you were to add 30 more months to that, you'd be like, okay, damn, you know, the foundation is still there, but now there's so much nuance that I understand that I don't know how to go about it. And thank you for finding me funny, CalBishop-MO7D. Thank you very much. But yeah, no, I don't understand gesture and textures at all. Again, like I vaguely fucking dude, this pen is not helping me either. Right? Can we? God damn it! God damn it! God damn it! But yeah, can we? Dude, like look how much ink it actually has. It has all this ink, right? Why is that not happening? Like okay, here it's kind of working. Am I too goated? Am I too fucking good at pen pressure sensitivity? Clearly not. So give me my goddamn line. God damn it. I'm wasting this entire stack of paper that's not being wasted because I have 3 more, but I'm wasting it. Right. But you see, like this also, because of the fucking pen, this shit is too light. And I get it, it's in the background, so it shouldn't have to be super dark. I understand. I do think I understand that. right? That concept, I think I do, right? I have to be very clear when I actually get something, and I think I kind of get it, right? And most things I only kind of get, by the way, right? Most things I only kind of get, and that's fine, because kind of getting is the first step to continuing to kind of get. It's a fucking amazing explanation, Viggy. Right? It's so weird to call myself by my own nickname. But now Viggy's gonna be a fucking brand name. I can't wait for the Reddit threads where people are shitting on me, where somebody's gonna be like, "Oh, he's so annoying. He says the word retarded. I can't believe it in this day and age." And the other people are like, "Actually, if you look past his personality and just who he is as a person, his content's actually great and it's very motivating, right?" I can already see the upvotes now. I can already see the subreddit that I'll have, right? So let's see. Okay, so obviously we want the big mistake I'm making right now, I just took in is like we want to follow the contour of these shapes, right? So here, this one is, yeah, there you go. Right, my headset suddenly got really loud. My ass almost freaked out. My bad. Was that my mic? Was that my mic? I apologize if that was my mic. But I did get a new mic, and for some reason in that beginner drawing video, it was you could hear the fan, but now when I listen to the stream audio, when I look back, you can't hear the fan. So I have no fucking idea, bro. I have no fucking idea. See, like, does this really make sense? Right? No, because if we don't really have, there you go. Like maybe we should add shadows and stuff, because like this needs to be looking like it's embedded in it. This was already a mistake, but we can just leave it. We can just say that some of them, yeah, like some of them don't have, they're not really attached to any leaves. I think this looks okay. Obviously, now it's time to start adding graphic shapes. Do I know what that means? No, but I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm gonna add a little bit of shadow um, to hopefully make sense of the entire thing. Not that my understanding of shadow is anything spectacular, but I'm just glad I'm trying to make an effort. I'm just trying, right? That makes me that makes me really happy. Never turn to this channel for enunciation, right? Never. Neighbor. I will sometimes say never. Remember Niga Higa? Classic. Classic. Does that really work? Well, we could probably make this a bit darker, right? It doesn't really read too well. Do I know what that word means? Do I know what that sentence means? It doesn't read too well. Fuck no. Absolutely fucking no, I don't know what that means. But I can kind of understand what it means as intuitively speaking, if we're going to use the word intuition, is that not reading too well from my understanding. It's like, okay, it kind of just doesn't make sense, right? I feel as if my eye can't make sense of it, you know? That's my understanding. And obviously, over the next 10, 15 years, as I continue to understand more, some things I'll be able to articulate better, right? But you'll notice that the things I can best articulate at this moment is anything related to generally to form, perspective, and line quality, right? That is where my skill set lies, to a relative degree, right? Maybe some find it notable, maybe some find it just whatever, right? Me being that some who finds it whatever. I think there's always something more to practice, but and trees have like these thingies, right? They have like these little rings, these little stumps that, yeah, that come out like that. Uh, okay, so we can obviously extend the shadow here, I believe. Something like that. I don't think this makes too much sense right now, but if I add some depth, it will, right? Maybe if I do something like that, perhaps I should cross-hatch this as well, right? Cool. That's a something. That's a drawing right there. One of my friends, one of my best friends, my brother, some might say, dude, he was like working for a sales job, and then he would get so tired, and then anytime he'd talk, like anytime he'd respond to anything, he just responded with that, and I started roasting him for that. Now here we are. There, you caught up on the lore. I know Arne, Arne space B. He's a concept artist. He used to be a teacher. I think he still works for ArtWad, but he used to be like it was called Teaching Tuesdays, and people would have questions or like submit their work, and he'd give stuff like that. He does mention like you want to have the rendering happening on the side, like you want the form indications happening on the edges and much less in the middle, right? So we're gonna try to try to follow that. I feel as if again my lines and my like my decision making isn't the best. So I obviously struggle in general with having clear clarity. What a fucking what amazing phrase. I struggle to have clear clarity, i.e., I struggle to be clear or have clarity. Incredible, right? When I was a child, I used to feel vibes with things like rain or moments and experiences. Now I don't feel anything anymore. I hope that with my dopamine detox, I start feeling again while drawing. Yeah, I don't know what else to say to that except you got this, right? I completely understand. I was addicted to weed much like now it's I'm still if I were to use the term and not I don't want to put an identity on it, but yeah, I still every now and then I've struggled with smoking too much weed, right? But from the ages of 17 to 24, all I did or 23, all I did was smoke. Okay? And my dopamine was fucked. And I had about 3 weeks when I quit properly, it was 3 weeks of essentially depression because your dopamine baseline is horrendously low, right? And then after that I was fine. But those 3 weeks are extremely difficult. Like right now, I smoked a lot this past month, right? Like 4 times, like five, 6 times this past month, which is a lot for me now because I've genuinely cut it down a shit ton. Like this entire year, I barely smoked, which I'm really, really proud of myself for, right? But let's see. Do I want? Okay, maybe we should have shadows here as well. But yeah, I'm like it's hard to focus, it's hard to think right now, which is why yesterday was so difficult. But at the same time, I'm just consistently trying, right? It's just I know how hard it is, trust me, when nothing feels good. Therefore, you're just kind of in that zone of like I don't feel like doing anything. But the best thing you can do is not think about I need to do something. For example, let's say you want to draw. My little hack for myself, if it works for you, works if it works for you. If some parts of it does, it does. If it doesn't, doesn't. Please keep that in mind, right? But it's just instead of telling myself I'm gonna do the thing, I would start do step by step. So like I'm gonna just go to the place where the thing is. I'm just gonna open the thing. If to be more specific, I'm gonna go to my chair. I'm gonna go open my notebook that's next to my chair. I'm gonna get my pen that's next to my notebook. I'm gonna hold my pen and I'm just gonna make a mark, right? And I'm gonna make another mark. And before you know it, you're drawing something and you're just getting in that zone, right? But more than anything, as long as we focus on thinking, right? Again, it's the same shit. As long as we just genuinely make an effort on trying and thinking and making an effort, you're winning. That's it. The win is the effort, right? I'm making a lot of effort right now to try to understand this if this is a shadow that makes sense and all that stuff. I'm also am to the best of my ability trying to keep the entire perspective in mind, right? Because the horizon line is here, right? I'm trying to keep that all in mind. Maybe it's changed now. I'll have to reanalyze after this drawing, right? But I think composition's not bad actually. Like, see, I tried to go around this guy's hat thingy, right? So five watching now. How fucking dare people just leave because they're not interested in me? I'll remember this. I will remember this and I'll hold it to heart. I will hold it to art. Oh no! It's not a bad joke. You just don't find it funny because your sense of humor is bad. That's the reason. Okay. You know what? Let's just make this a branch. I was gonna make that a shadow, but it's probably best to just make it a branch. But we should have more shadow in places like these, I believe. Right? But yeah, it's really cool to know that people basically it seems everybody in the chat was actually talking, which makes sense because Broken Raw is a very active chat community, right? When it comes to streaming, it makes sense that you guys found me through him, right? Oh, what I was saying is, wow, I completely forgot to mention this. I completely derailed my own train of thought. But it's not that, oh, when I was saying I don't do the broken draw exercise anymore, because you'll see a series called warming up, right? And it's the broken draw exercise mainly I do. But funny enough, the reason I stopped is just obviously I want to focus on other things. But if you guys didn't know the lore, and I'm gonna fucking keep saying this because I want the credit. No, it's fine. But I just find it really, really cool. Like he was actually when I had 11 subs, by the way, when I had 11 subs, Broken Draw was my 11th subscriber. He was looking at my first few videos when it came to form and all that shit, right? Like the form exercises, the perspective exercises I was doing. He was looking at that when he made his 25 drawing exercises video. He was looking at that. So let it be known, hashtag Viggy in the background, always giving you guys value even when you didn't realize it. I just think it's amazing that like this, the wealth and cycle of knowledge and assistance and trying to help people always goes around. It's amazing. I think art is unique in that sense. This actually doesn't look too bad anymore. This actually does not look too bad anymore. Um, we I think I'm just gonna establish that the lighting stops around here, right? Yeah, I'm just gonna establish that. Bro, I'm relatively proud of this because I did focus on composition and trying to make things clear and trying to have a scale. Maybe the scale isn't amazing, but I do feel as if there is an attempt, right? Which I'm really proud of. But I want to be very clear that this. Oh, dude, it's already been 40 minutes. Okay, fuck it. It's a 2 hour stream. Usually my schedule is like an hour of drawing, then 2 hours of coding, and then and then an hour of piano, and then I'll eat and then do another hour of drawing. But with these streams, because I'm streaming right now, fuck it. We'll just do the full 2 hours in one go, and then I'll go code, and then piano, and then eat. Yeah, there's no. It doesn't make sense to segment it when I don't even notice the time passing clearly. That's a beautiful thing about focus and art is like when you train yourself to focus. And by the way, focus weans or wanes. I want to let people know like if you find your focus waning, you're also building the skill of focus. The skill of focus is actually not the act of focus. It's the skill of focus is actually the act of focusing and refocusing. So I want to say that again. Like if you are struggling to keep your mind on that thing, the effort you're putting towards trying to keep your mind on that thing is the skill of focus. And over time you will simply get better because it's a skill and you're putting in effort. Right. So in case you were ever wondering or thinking that I can't focus, it's not that you can't, it's just it's the act of focusing and refocusing you have not been able to build as consistently because it's a skill. Right. I like repeating the same shit. Again, I think repetition serves value when it comes to reminders, especially for beginners. My channel isn't for beginners in the sense that it's for anyone. Anybody can learn from it, and I can learn from it. I'm sure I could learn a lot from everybody here. Right. I will always be better, but I could learn. But um I do always want to keep reiterating the mindset that got me to this point. So clearly it's been working, and I want to keep reiterating that for people who will always ask the same questions because you're beginners, right? You'll always be saying, "Is line confidence important?" Yes, right? Is pen and ink important? Yes. Am I against pencil or any other medium? No. But I just think a permanent medium, and pen is the most convenient permanent medium because it basically replicates the form and the factor of a pencil, basically, right? It's kind of like Kim Jong-il said, right? It's like it's not about the pen, it's about the mindset you have when using the tool. So because as a beginner right now, I still consider myself a beginner because I cannot use pencil without treating it like a tool that is not permanent. I thus must continue to use permanent tools until my mindset with any tool is that it is permanent. That's the way I see it. Cal Bishop says, fuck it, I have another hour, LMAO. Do you do any digital stuff? No. That's actually funny. Somebody asked me about this yesterday, but I don't do digital stuff, not because I dislike it, but yeah, because I just want to really, like, there's only so many things I can learn in so much time in the day, right? And, like, specific things I want to focus on. So for me, it's less about doing digital stuff and more about, okay, what is my belief is the biggest return on investment, right? And for me, it's like, okay, confident lines, pen, so I'll just do with pen. Right. I actually initially I wanted to start with digital. Digital was what I was super enamored by, but then I just fell in love with draftsmanship. With I literally just fell in love with becoming an excellent draftsman as my goal. You know what I mean? Like that it's so it's such a beautiful skill to learn in my opinion. Right? Like I just fell in love with that. So that's why I don't do digital. And again, I think digital is great, right? But I do believe it promotes again the whole like undo thing, right? So if you can use digital without undoing, um, go ahead. Like at the end of the day, I think confident marks. Everybody, because I've noticed even advanced artists, and I said this yesterday, but like everybody struggles with lines, and everybody wants good lines. So it's just one plus one equals two, right? Like the permanent medium, which is similar to pencil, forces you to have good lines because it forces you to think, right? If you're able to use the impermanent medium, which is digital or any other tool, that isn't something like pen, right? You will. It's more likely you'll fall back into a habit of not making decisions as confidently as you could, right? And again, there will be times in digital. I'm sure digital, like there are obviously workflows which embrace the imperfection and or not imperfection, but the impermanence, right? And they work around it. Like there's so many cool pencil drawings and the way they use the erasing and all that stuff. But those are techniques, right? That's not a lack of decision making. The decision being made is I'm going to use this tool which erases it to showcase this texture or this lighting or this value. So there's still intent behind it. Everything has intent, right? So yeah, that's what I think. Oh my God, I know everything. Okay, I think this is cool. I know the form could be a lot more established, but maybe something like this, right? This fucking pen. I hope that answers your question. Also, if you do have another hour, that's great. But if you actually have stuff to do, I would encourage you guys to go do that stuff. I honestly find it very, very I'm very grateful, and I find it very, very kind. I find it very kind that people take time out of their day to watch me when I stream, right? Because I know how important time is. I would like to value your time, which is why when I draw, I try to talk about things that are valuable to the best of my knowledge and ability. Now, this actually looks pretty decent. That actually looks pretty decent, right? Let me just drink some water. Let's everybody take a hydration break, right? Let's all drink some fucking water. It's so weird to me that my stream is lagging. It makes sense, like a 10-second delay, but I still find it odd, right? I'm just watching myself draw, but yeah, let's all take a water break. I don't know if I'm finishing this drawing today, but I'm actually I'm pretty proud of this tree. I know it doesn't really look much like a tree, especially in the leaf area, but I feel as if I've established the horizon line decently well. Have I? Fuck, I don't know if I. Well, okay, we might have to make this a hill after all. These guys might actually be on a hill, right? But I'm trying to think like what else can be done. Let's just say this is the again, like, dude, this pen is fucking me up so badly right now, right? Um, okay, what's next? We still have this fucking guy's entire right leg to do. By the way, I know you guys can't see it that well, but you can see the foot is like completely off, right? It really kind of fucks with the perspective and it doesn't ground it at all. Like, and again, I didn't know how to, I didn't think this, like, I really didn't think here when it came to drawing the shoe. And yesterday I wasn't thinking at all. So there's a lot of mistakes here, but you can see I'm thinking a lot more here. So this reads a lot nicer. It's more organic, it's cleaner, right? But like you can tell I was thinking a lot here. I was thinking a lot here, but you can literally see where the thinking did not occur, right? Like here with this, not really much thought was occurring, right? But oh Jesus, oh God. Okay, that water done did me good, boy. That water done did me good. Okay, let's see. We need more grass, right? We got to think about my ass being grass. Dude, I don't know what's going on with these pens. I actually don't know what's going on with these pens. Okay, I just need to follow the pattern that I've established clearly, right? Because I have established a pattern, and when it's not readable, gee, like seriously, like why is that so faint? It's a new pen. I literally took out a new pen, right? I don't know why it's doing that, but it's what it is, right? But I appreciate questions. So if you guys have any questions, keep asking, right? Mostly because I'm lonely, but if I make you think that I actually give a shit about what you have to say, and I'm not just using you as a launch pad to talk about myself again, well, let's keep that lie up, why don't we? Let's keep it up. But oh, Hannah means family. There you go. Hopefully that distracted you. Yeah, I've talked about this before, but my friend, she loves it when I do that accent, especially when she's drunk, right? For some reason, I can just do the Lilo, the Stitch accent. Ever since I was a kid, I was able to do it. That is called talent, and you'll never be able to do that. It will require decades of training your vocal cords to even match my ability, let it be known, right? But yeah, I don't know what's going on with this pen. It's kind of pissing me off, but it's what it is. Okay, so clearly I'm established a decent. So we can obviously say that this is kind of going higher up, right? So this is a hill. Now we can try to think about because silhouette, obviously, like this has a pretty interesting silhouette. Now, what is the silhouette for this hill, right? I do want something here. Like I do have an idea for something here, and he's gonna help establish the perspective a bit more, right? Maybe not that much more, but a bit more. And okay, yeah, I don't know why this pen is so fucking indecisive on whether it wants to have good marks or bad marks. There you go. There you go. It's okay. This is still very messy, right? Let's see how many people are watching. How popular am I? 6 people? Incredible. Incredible. Yeah, see, started streaming 48 minutes ago. Jesus Christ, man. Oh my God, how does the time fly this much? How does it fly? But okay, fuck it. Let's just finish this guy's leg. I'm so tired of not finishing this guy's leg. right? And the log, clearly the log. Okay, or maybe it's just one ass cheek is on log, right? Let's see. Okay, well, obviously, with the perspective in mind, right? Vanishing point, we have to keep in mind that it's turning, right? I'm really trying to think about the entire scene in the horizon line. Like I'm trying to, fuck. Oh no, I fucked with history. This is also gonna be a famous page one day. So going that way. Somebody asked something. I like seeing the progress of people who draw realistically. As time goes by, they keep improving more and more in a short period of time, like about 5 years. 5 years is not a short period, but it's actually very nice that you think about 5 years as a short period because that's what I think, right? That's why I keep saying 10, 20 years I'll be good. In 5, 10 years, my channel will get more notable. Yeah, so like great mindset already, and I appreciate that you like seeing this progress, right? People who draw realistically. By realistically, I assume you mean regularly, like the realistic progress of someone who just practices consistently. Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome, right? And everybody's capable of that. Now, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. We have to keep this in mind. So this is overlapping. And when I put the other leg in, it's gonna look crowded. I have to keep that in mind. It's gonna look relatively crowded. So how, because it's already crowded now, right? It's already very crowded. So how do we ensure that we minimize, if this is a fucking word, the crowdability? And again, we have to make sure this guy's foot is on the same plane. So it's coming over here, right? It's a cylinder. Is it like that? No, because that doesn't make any sense. We should have it more like this, right? It's coming just like that. It's kind of facing this way. So is there something like this? Like that? That does make a bit more sense, I'd like to believe. Realistic, I mean copying photos. Who draw realistically? Oh, well then why are you here, bro? I don't copy photos. Well, I do learn from them and I do try to understand them every now and then, but I literally, I haven't copied. What the hell is interesting about me if that's what you like to see? Bars. But okay, I think that should make sense. I think that should make sense. But now his foot is going to be behind, and we might lose the gesture. We're gonna lose. Yeah, it's gonna crowd it. It's gonna crowd it. I know it's not about you. How dare you? Everything's about me. This is what we call textbook narcissism in action. You're welcome. I hope all the psych majors are learning something from this. But let's see. It's always about me, man. Don't you know I'm at the center of the universe? Anyways, let's see. So obviously it's a cylinder. It's coming over under. Right, I tried drawing something like leather. It didn't really work that well. This actually should have been a bit smaller, so I already made that mistake, so just gotta deal with it. There you go. Oh, that kind of flows pretty decently, right? That actually doesn't look too bad from my limited amateur understanding of composition form, line weight. Right? I have to clarify, like when I say this doesn't look too bad, I'm literally saying from my really limited understanding. Right. And I'm thinking here. I'm thinking very, very hard here. I've already made quite a few mistakes, but it can be fixed, I'm pretty sure. Right. Trying to avoid a tangent, but I don't think I did. I'm pretty sure I fucked the perspective up here. I like 100% did, but we're just gonna deal with the fact that it's a tangent, right? We're just gonna accept that, and then let's see. Maybe fucking doing this will actually make a difference in this goddamn pen responding in the way I want it to. Let's see. These are beautiful mistakes I'm making because as you can see, I haven't built the skill of being really accurate with my thick lines when it comes to brush pen, right? So this is the part where I'm telling myself, like, I'm just forcing good feelings. Like, I literally am just forcing myself to feel good because I know that this is not the lines that I want to make. and putting in a lot of effort to make relatively clean lines while I'm trying to think about that, right? Putting in a lot of effort regarding that. And same here, and then we should probably see this didn't follow the form, so this already looks really off. But and there's no confidence here as well. We can be rest assured of that. There's no confidence here. Okay, that's fine. That's what it is, right? It's in 2020, my drawings were awful, but after I discovered Kim Jong-il, I've been improving my perspective. I don't even think about vanishing points, but when doing a full drawing, I have to think about it. Yep, exactly, exactly, right? I always advocate for thinking as much as possible, right? Um, and yeah, like Kim Jong-il just constantly showcasing. I'm still so fucking sad about his passing, but the point is Kim Jong-il constantly showcasing that, hey, just keep thinking, bro. Let's make his leg actually bend back a little bit. So let's do something like this. No, let's see. I know it's not the same because I want to obviously make it look at least relatively compelling. There you go. Shit, did I fuck that up? Let's just, there you go. And then we'll do something like this. Right? It's a three-dimensional shape. Woohoo. And let's see. This is just like a little random pattern, I guess I tried to establish. Right? Now I'm trying to improve my shapes and understand the perspective and size of one object compared to another in space. Also very difficult to do, right? Like this is already wrong because this is much larger than this, even though this was supposed to be, it's further away, right? So already like so many mistakes, right? And it's a good thing. That's a good thing, right? I just coped. I just gaslighted and told myself that's a good thing. It's amazing. Okay, we should actually, this is supposed to be a bit larger. I can at least agree on that. And it's okay. We've already made a million mistakes. So, and this is like really awkward. So I don't know what to do here. Maybe I'll just give him a fucking peg for a foot here. Fuck this. I give up. I'll just give him a peg. There you go. Your peg leg. That's who you are. You're a fucking peg leg. There you go. Oh, what's this guy's story? So sad, so sad. Why does he have a peg leg? Because the man who created him is a fucking moron who can't think about things ahead of time. That is the true tragedy. Right. And then again, little grass pieces there. Let's attach that. That's whatever. It looks kind of okay. At least you can tell, like, hey, he's kind of sitting on this thing, and that's his foot. It's what it is, right? It's not bad. No, more comments. I saw a video of Kim Jong-il once, and he was drawing something simple like a bench, and he kept adding things compared to the size of the bench and the people he drew. Exactly, like he uses everything as a frame of reference, right? And that's how he learned skill, and he did it from observation. So I think there's a lot to take away from that. Yeah, there's a lot to take away from that, right? So okay, well I did this fucking shit. I'm just glad I'm getting this done with because I have gotten tired of this drawing. Not because I don't enjoy it, but I mean actually, you know what? I'll take that back. It's been fun. It's been really fun. So yeah, that's just me talking shit. Ignore, right? But okay. So I finally got this shit done. Hooray. Jesus Christ. So now we can establish, okay, we still have the horizon line. Technically horizon line, yeah, it should be. If we're seeing the top of this as well, actually. This is the part where it's actually it's really difficult to figure out the perspective because I'm sure there's a lot of mistakes, right? Thankfully, it all still looks relatively believable and grounded, which I appreciate. For myself, I appreciate myself, I guess. But yeah, like thankfully, I've still managed to make it relatively believable and grounded, right? But now I really got to think about the space that these people occupy and what we're gonna do from there. So let's see. Okay, let's see. So this is the space, right? I want to obviously put somebody here, and that will just have to be it, actually. That might just have to be it. Do I want to do anything with this guy first before we move on? Right. No, I mean, I don't really understand what I did here anyways, so it doesn't really matter. There you go. Add some three-dimensionality. Okay, that kind of looks interesting. Or just it just kind of evens out whatever I did on the other side over there. Right, still need to make this thicker, I believe. Again, this could all be wrong, right? My decision making when it comes to composition, and like overlapping lines, as you can see, is it's just not that much. And I did try to think here, but I definitely could have thought a lot more, right? So let's see, let's see. Uh, Let me just fix that. Okay, so this is actually supposed to be, I think this we can just make three-dimensional. There you go. Something like that. Right? That is whatever. It's what it is. Right, again, like there's too many things going on at once, right? I clearly don't understand composition. And I'm not saying this to constantly shit on myself. I'm just trying to reaffirm that even though I don't understand a lot of things, it looks okay. It looks believable. And this is just a trial and error. It's just a learning process. This is one of hundreds of drawings I'll be doing like this, thousands probably, maybe, hopefully, right? And it's just trying to get better every time we do it. So let's think. I wanted a specific type of character here, and I wanted a specific type of character doing something. Well, I'll tell you right now, I want like a knight in armor, something like that. And he, because his right arm hasn't been established yet as to what it's doing, and clearly has like an injury or something, right? Well, the fucking like voice got hoarse as shit. So what could we do? What could we do? I do want. It might be important to establish more things in the background for scale, to be honest, because that tree does a decent job. We can tell like they're really definitely in the foreground, and that tree is in the background. But and for those of you who are likely bored by this, I do not apologize because this is the process, right? Like if you came for someone to draw everything, like essentially printing it out of their mind all at once, then this is not the caliber of individual you need to be referring to. You need to be referring to someone who's much more skilled, right? But I'm not much more skilled. I'm as skilled as I currently am, and as much as I try to be, as I make every mark, right? So I'm imagining, in terms of okay, because from what I understand, hi there. Hello, Daniel. Hey, Daniel. I remember Daniel. How's it going? Let me hear your sweet voice before I go to sleep. Yo, Parkit, how's it going? You're in Germany, right? I'm pretty sure you're German, so must be fucking what is that shit? It's probably midnight there, no? Yeah, or like 11. Yeah, what's up, Parkit? How's it going? Hello, Daniel. I do remember that I'm pretty sure you made a comment on one of my videos, or you've also pulled up on my streams, right? So how's it going? How's it going, everybody? How's it going? Yeehaw, fuck, man, I can't do the Texas accent right now. Well, sir, how's it going? There, I got to put that that right there. But apart from that, okay. So what I was trying to say is, I want this character to be larger than this character, but because he's gonna be a bit further back, I want him to be like hunched over almost. I wanted him to put his hand on his shoulder, but now there's too much shit here, right? So maybe he'll be doing something like a this, like babapadi boopadi, mamma mia, pasta, pepperoni, right? Some shit like that. Maybe he'll be doing something like that, right? Pocket says it's 11. Daniel says he's honored. Why are you honored? I appreciate it, but like I do try to remember all the people that have commented, to the best of my ability. Again, as this channel continues to grow and it'll blow up at a certain point, I can't say I'll remember everyone, but I'll always remember the OGs to the best of my ability. That's to the best of my ability. And hey, that looks sick. Thank you, I appreciate it. Right, just trying my best. As always, that's all we can do is try our best. So what I was trying to say is I'm trying to have like okay. So one thing when I went to Fan Expo earlier this year, they said with composition one of the like the main recurring themes is you want things to flow into other things. So this flows around this, right? Like things are kind of like flowing. This is what I'm trying to do, right? Even this leg, even though it looks retarded, because it doesn't look ass, is because it's going with this, right? Like this part kind of looks awkward because it's not really going with anything. But maybe I can add another thing on this bag that kind of reinforces that it's going through here, right? Or like it's here. Maybe I could add some drapery, right? Treblados 1. Yes, you're an OG. I consider anybody, because dude, come on, like I have 1,000. Okay, I have what is it? 898 subscribers. Because of that video I put out, I'm almost at 900, which is crazy. I get 100 subscribers because of that video. That's amazing. Apart from the subscribers, I'm really glad that video's hitting people. I think the title thumbnail combination really works. You know, this is a video for beginner artists who are not alone, and thumbnails like the first 2 years or countless pages. It's like a great combination because I really wanted, obviously, I wanted to hit as many people as possible. But I would consider anybody in the 1,000 subscriber club to be an OG, like the first 1,000 people. And many of them are dead subs. Many of you fuckers are dead subs, or you're just people who are just curious and interested in my process, but not curious and interested enough to watch the entire thing, which I completely understand. You're probably subscribed to me because you're like, okay, this guy said 5 to 10 years. Let's see how it goes. 5 to 10 years from now, those people who are in the first, like, who are in this first 1,000, a lot of them are gonna be like, oh shit, they're gonna watch me now. That's what I assume. Right. A lot of them could probably also unsubscribe. From what I know, like the first 1,000 people who subscribe to you actually don't even stick around. So I could be completely wrong. But I do consider the first 1,000 people to be the OGs, let's just say. Because after 1,000, bro, like, I don't know, it's just too much to think about. 1,000's a nice staple number. Right. Park it. I started going to university this year on my way to become an art and philosophy teacher. I think my professors cannot draw. That's awesome to hear that you're working towards something. It's unfortunate to hear that your professors cannot be of much help, but that's just the education system in a nutshell, right? It's very 50-50. Many people there just for their the money, right? Tenure? Is it tenure? No, there's like a thing. The stipend? I don't fucking know. But a lot of professors just come for a specific paycheck to do their research, right? And a lot of professors actually care and want to teach, but I feel as if they're far and few between. Okay, so I want this guy to be really okay. If I want him to be much bigger, but I want him to also be scaled back, I think the best thing to do is to make his face, his head, the same size, right? The same size, but we'll showcase that he's much larger and we'll put him back a little bit. So what's the story here? Let's just say this is his friend who has really put, like it's like a grotesque friend. It's like it's he's gonna be a knight in armor, right? Let's just say he's much larger. He has a horrible disease and affliction, and he's helping him. He's helping him. That's our story. He's helping him. Very sweet. So I've been relatively studying in medieval armor. By studying, I mean total, let's say over the past 2 weeks, because I really want to give you guys numbers and clarity by what I mean when I say these things, right? I don't like using vague. I don't like being vague. So when I say I've been studying, right, what I mean is, and this is all predicated again on my knowledge of form line and perspective, by the way. Like this is all based on my foundation. Like that's the assumption you should always have. Like when I say I'm learning something or studying something, it's based on my foundations, right? Especially of form line and perspective, you know, and my understanding of shapes thus far. But oh, good night, Daniel. Oh no, Daniel said good night to Parkit. Good night, bro. Yeah, good night. He said that they study history and modern art stuff. However, I only met 2 art profs so far. Okay, you gotta take advantage of those 2 art profs as much as you can. But yeah, and have a good night. Have a wonderful night. Right. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this point across. But when I say I studied medieval stuff, I basically have spent a total of, let's say, 4 hours, 4 to 6 hours. Oh no, let's say 40 minutes to 2 hours, like a range of actually just looking at it and trying to analyze, right? Let's just say like an hour actually, like 40, yeah, whatever. That's the range. That's the range. It's hard to know exactly. And then of actual application, like recalling, trying to memorize, trying to like apply. Well, it's on the portrait drawing series. So let's just say, yeah, like 4 hours. Right, like the portrait drawing series, as you guys can see, I'm drawing the portrait and then I'm drawing the fucking helmets over it, and then I changed to doing the helmet first and then the portrait underneath, because like either way, like doing the helmet first forces me to visualize the portrait underneath, right? So art and philosophy sounds great. It does. It does. It sounds really it sounds nice, honestly. Right? I don't know how old you guys are. I assume I'm older. Like by my not that older, but my target audience is literally me. Dickheads, men who are between the ages of 25 to 34. You're all a bunch of fucking dickheads for sure. I know anybody who enjoys my channel is a piece of shit, right? But you're my piece of shit. But yeah, based on that, what I'm trying to say is I'm gonna do this helmet design. Actually, we can make him much larger than him. That way it will really get scaled down. So what do I know about helmet design, right? Not much, but we can. Again, this is where I actually have to think about the portrait, funny enough, right? So we can, and what I limited knowledge of portrait. So we can do something like, okay, he's looking at the fire, right? So we'll obviously have him look at the fire. Okay, so that's the chin, right? Trouble. Oh, Cal Bishop says he's 28. Wonderful. I'm also 28. Therefore, you can also do everything I can do and more, because you probably have skills that I've never heard of or I've never attempted, and you're probably very amazing. Oh, we're all a fucking beautiful motivational channel. I don't know where I was going with that, but it's nice to see another 28-year-old. I had nothing of value to say there. Um, let's see. Trablados says, I've never seen my art teacher drawing, but when he doesn't feel like teaching, he gives us a sheet of paper and tells us to draw things from our imagination and then wants us to give his opinions. Interesting. That's really cool. The fact that he forces you to do imagination drawings. He keeps giving his damn opinion. He says, put something in the back, make a scene. That's too vague. You should ask him to be specific. Be like, can you please, because put something in the back. What do you mean? All right. Like, is there a specific intent behind what you want? How would you like it to be placed? How would you like the composition? All right. Make a scene, dude. Like, specificity. We need specificity. Not specificity to the point like where I unfortunately tend to do, and I'm trying to chill on that, is like where it's overcomplicating things or over-explaining things, but specificity in the sense that we need general instructions, right? That is like the gist of teaching, from my understanding. He's okay. Trablodos is 17. Damn, dude. You should do. Isn't YouTube's fucking age verification gonna butt fuck you? You should watch out. You shouldn't be saying that shit out loud. I'm scared to work. I'm in Brazil. Ha ha ha. I'm the youngest here. Daniel's even younger than 17. What the fuck? Why are kids watching my channel? So Broken Draw, Tyrion's entire concern of segueing younger people to my channel was that I swear and I say specific things, but it seems like it doesn't matter, Tyrion. It seems like younger kids are gonna be fucking attracted to my shit anyways. So have me back on your streams. Let me say everything I want. No. It's just funny. Funny. Okay, so what do I know about? Clearly, I want to establish some stuff, right? So I want to establish, and this is beautiful because now I really have to think. I want to establish this because we see this a lot in medieval design, like a lot, right? Okay, so I already fucked up the perspective, but it's okay because we can see, like, what is this pen? It's a new pen and it's doing this. I'm so confused. It's really annoying me. It's actually, I'm so angry. He just wants us to fill up the sheet, but he's a public school teacher. He doesn't give a fuck. Okay, so you just have to take the interpretation as you will and ignore the whatever the fuck he has to say. If he doesn't know anything about the skill, he has no right to speak on it. Okay, take his opinion, be like whatever, cool, right? Be amicable, right? Be friendly, but learn on your own or like learn through your own means. He's not gonna understand anything. That's just my very opinionated opinions, right? Well, from what you're telling me, that's like, dude, this is a new pen. Look at all that ink. Why is it not coming out? Okay, see, it's coming out now, and then it's gonna die again? Confusing. Daniel, why are you so young, and why are you here if you're so young, bro? Jesus Christ. But I guess it's what it is. Okay, so I'm really trying to recall all the night stuff I've seen. Right? I'm really trying to recall it. So there's shapes like this because it's so easy to look at something and be like, yes, I understand and analyze. By the way, it's very easy to just do that and be like, yes. But then recall is the greatest thing you can practice, right? Recall. So that is actually where you learn, you know? Okay, see, these lines are better now. It's fucking nice and cleaner. But who knows? It'll probably go away again. And what am I thinking right now? I'm thinking about the box. Okay, I'm literally thinking about the box. But I've established a chin here, relatively. Maybe this is the no, this is the midline of the face. We should have the eye here, right? So yeah, there you go. We can already like see this character is much bigger, right? And I think the perspective is a little bit off there, or maybe a lot off, a lot off. Yeah, but look, this is how we can fraud it. Watch, I'm just gonna show you right now how we can fraud that, right? By doing this, but then doing this on the inside. Now it's proportionate, right? Daniel says, I'm 14 years old. Oh no, I'm minor. I don't know if you should be listening to me. I'm not the best role model. But hey, hashtag your body, your choice, right? So do what you gotta do. Wait, hold up. That was a fuck up. See, I gotta think about the form very much so here. But okay, see, like before I even make a decision, we really have to think, right? We really have to think because it's following this. because this is where perspective can really, really make or break the scene, right? So I'm trying to keep that in mind, right? Okay. And then what else? What are some other? Don't worry, most of my friends are older anyways. I guess that's a good thing. I don't know. Are you learning anything from them? Okay. Now, I know I said medieval, but clearly I'm struggling to do medieval, but that doesn't mean I'm not trying, right? Oof, that's really hard. Okay. So, okay, I have to think about like what are some medieval things? Something like this. And I did want to give him an eye, but it seems like his eye is just yeah, his eye is definitely not working. Like there's no eye there. Okay, so we'll do something like this. And then I don't think this is correct, but I've seen shapes like this in medieval I guess in the references that I checked out, right? Oof. See, there's a lot of thinking here, so you can see immediately I'm a lot quieter. Right. Where are you from actually? Well, the most you're gonna get is I'm from Canada. But if you're like, you ethnic man with a specific melanin, where are you really from? Then I'm South Indian. I was born in New Delhi. All right. But you know, my parents were from Chennai, right? Or Chennai, if that helps. And yeah, and then I moved to Canada when I was a wee lad when I was 4. Right. Okay. Still really trying to figure out the shapes that I can use here, you know, because I do feel as if I made a couple mistakes. I mean, I made a lot of mistakes, but I'm just trying to think like medieval, medieval, medieval. What do I remember about medieval? Well, there's this. So we can actually do this, right? Because I do see that quite a bit. Right, and then oh, I know what I forgot. I actually know what I forgot now, so I'm gonna implement that. See, recall. It's this. Medieval shit all had hinges. That's the one thing I took in. They all had hinges. Oh, I completely fucked that up. Hold up. It's supposed to be here. So we can actually something like this where I can make a smaller one here and then we can make another smaller one here. So it's kind of like, oh, look, design, right? Wired Functor, Viggy! Hello, Wired Functor. I don't know if I recall you commenting or being on my stream, but hi. How did you find my channel? Are you new? Are you old? Right? Are you a minor? And where do you live? I'm curious. Just for research purposes. This is see now that joke is what's gonna get me banned from YouTube. But never forget, guys, I am also a minority. Therefore, I can just keep bitching and moaning that I'm a minority, and and they can never hurt me. Isn't that how it works? I think that's how it works, right? You cannot critique me because of my skin color. It is the truth. Ask anybody who has skin colors. Okay, I'm really struggling with this, which is good. That means I'm learning. That means I'm really thinking, right? But okay, we have like what are some other medieval shapes? Right? What are some other medieval shapes? Well, I did this. I've done a lot better with this before, but I'm just dude, like none of this looks medieval right now. I'm well aware, right? But okay, that kind of has a medieval aspect to it. Let's maybe we'll do this as well, right? We'll do something like there you go. See, because it's three-dimensional, it's a plating, right? Function is really difficult to think about. Oh yes, yes, yes. I'm okay, dude. I don't know how to pronounce that. It to me it looks like Ian. Okay, that's how I read it. If I was just like straight up reading it, can you please let me know if that is correct or incorrect? Right? If you want to break down how it's actually spelled, that would also be nice. I'd appreciate that. Okay, so I'm trying to, because, okay, they have this plating thing, right? They do have this plating thing. Okay, what else? It's medieval shit is so hard, bro. It's so good. I'm trying to think, because they have this type of shape. Usually it actually goes a lot further out, so even this is a lot more realistic, right? Something like that is a lot more realistic. The hinges are accurate, right? My cubes are still broken today. Wonderful. Keep trying to not make them broken. That's all you can control, right? And the fact that you can see that they're broken is the most important thing. So you should be proud of yourself. Okay. Right. Again, having this little three-dimensionality really helps make it seem as if it's something more than it actually is. Now, I've already made a mistake, but we're gonna roll with it. Let's add this for shits. And you know what? Let's make this a bit more three-dimensional. Right? These are like the little things that I think make a difference. You know, I do think they make a difference. Right? Sometimes more, sometimes less, right? It's nothing something exceptional. It's nothing exceptional at all. Now, I made a mistake here, right? So we're cut off here. Now I have to think, what is an interesting shape? And how can it come out of here? So I know for sure maybe I want something like this. Thinking about the perspective of it all, right? I want something like that. Now, what do I want it to be though? Maybe something like this, right? And on the other side, the same shit. And perhaps that means that something like that occurs. Is that in perspective? I believe so. It is the center. Because when the lines get so thin, it actually makes it harder, a lot harder to make clear decisions or to showcase clear form and design and to space things out. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. But I'm thinking a lot right now. I'm thinking a lot. We're about to see what we're gonna turn into, right? It's pure just trial and error, trying to figure things out. Is there too much shit here? Not enough, right? I think we can actually do this. This might actually even make it a lot more readable. Might being the key word. The only way I'm gonna know is when I do it, right? And for this specifically, I'm trying to follow the contour of the spear. The spear? The spear? What the fuck? Immigrant. I am immigrant. The spear. And let's see if darkening the values makes a difference. Why the fuck is my voice getting so hoarse? I definitely need to drink water. 100% need to drink water. Let's darken the bottom of this. Anybody know Modest Pelican? He's a gaming YouTuber. He also drinks a lot of water. Fucking love that guy. But cool. Yeah, let's increase or darken the values. Right? That'll make the eyes stand out more from my knowledge and my belief. Okay. That doesn't look too bad. But the most important thing right now, if we're gonna do silhouette design and all that stuff, is what is nice and readable here, right? What is nice and readable? Because this is still supposed to be his friend, right? He's helping this guy. This is what we wanted to do is try to make it seem like, okay, this guy's gone through a lot of shit, right? So, oh, I think I know what to do. Then this is gonna be like very grotesque. I think that's not a bad idea, actually. There you go. Right. I dropped out drawbox because I hate rulers, couldn't complete their exercises. If you watch my video, like this is for beginner artists, you'll see why I understand that completely. Right? I completely understand. Do art wad. Shill, shill, shill. Do art wad, do art wad. Okay, so what I wanted to do here was actually, okay. Yeah, we're trying to, at least I'm trying to make it seem as if like his face is like leaking out. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, right? Yeah, don't rely on rulers. You rely on rulers when it comes to informing. So let's say like you're just starting with perspective, right? So obviously, sure, use the ruler to make the perspective line. Bless me. But when you're actually calculating, yeah, use your hand and build that hand-eye coordination of just ghosting and seeing with your eye and your hand, and yeah, like all of that. But in the beginning, if you're really, really, really struggling to even just understand like how you can go that far, I would suggest only in the beginning, really only maybe for like a maximum like the first 5, 10 times you try. Use the ruler and really focus so you can understand like, oh, okay, like so this is kind of the way I need to visualize in. This is the way I need to visualize in, right? Only use the ruler to inform your own efforts to visualize is what I would recommend, right? So, okay, but the thing is, it doesn't have to be even, right? And I don't, maybe this wasn't the best decision, what this ended up being. Maybe it wasn't, but we're gonna have to still make a decision, right? So, again, like, dude, this fucking pen, I'm gonna kill myself. Uh, this, this, this should be straight, so let's just go over that. Make it straight. I think it's losing a lot of the medievalness, but let's see. Let's see what else we can do. Medieval stuff definitely has a lot of that, they have a lot of like the grill marks and stuff, right? I've noticed that for sure. Like for sure I've noticed that, right? So we can even do that right here. Cool, right? It goes over, and if we want to multiple round it, we can. Maybe we want to just add a little cutout. Okay. Again, I don't think this is anything crazy, but I'm gonna try to make sense out of it. Operative word being try, right? Viggy, are you an Asmon Gold viewer? No, I'm not. I'm not. Every impression I've had of the guy, I'm just like, he honestly seems like a complete waste man. And that's it. That's my uninformed opinion. I saw a couple things, I'm like, I don't really like, I just don't, I'm just not interested in his personality. And that's okay. I'm sure he has a lot of things going for him that many of you would be interested in, and that's completely fine. Okay, so where should the grill marks be? Wait, I'm not a viewer. I just had to put my opinion out there because I just, like, you gotta make sure everybody knows your opinion, right? But please don't let my opinion be any sort of reflection of who I am as a person, right? I'm just talking shit now. I'm getting tired of just drawing, which is, I know, sacrilegious. Well, I'm not getting tired of drawing. I'm just trying to figure things out. Maybe I'll multiple round this as well, right? Is the multiple rounding necessary? Who knows? Who knows? Maybe too many lines are being made, right? Now, where the grill marks should be is the real question. These don't even make sense, but you know what? Fuck it. We'll make this the cylindrical area, right, as the pattern, and then there you go. That's the grill mark. Ta-da! Looks kind of interesting. I'm an Asmongold hater. Daniel. I have just like I just have not been interested in anything the guy has to say. Right. I kind of want to turn this into like an Eldritch abomination. Abomination, right? But dude, it's almost been 2 hours. After his AI thing where he used AI to fix a fan art, I stopped watching. What a complete loser. Oh, we're all hating on him. Fuck that guy. No, I don't know anything about him, so yeah, sure. I mean, you guys are free to dislike him, but let's keep it not too mean, all right? Let's not keep it too mean. Because it all come back to me and people are like, Vicky promotes hate. I don't promote hate. I promote genocide. There's a difference. Okay, hate is way too much. Hate is just mean. But at least genocide has tactics. Right? At least there's a militarical aspect to it. Ha 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 ha. Right? Okay. So this is his friend. And we'll just say, let's see. Because I still like the medieval aspect of this. Obviously, okay, let's see. That's really cool. I've always liked stuff like this. Silhouette reads okay. Silhouette definitely reads okay. There you go. I think I kind of fucked this up a little, but a little bit. Not too much, just a little. Okay. And so we'll have this side be completely normal, and then we'll have this side be completely fucked up. And I think that will help establish just some sort of design interest, right? I still think that the story that this is kind of like a disfigured, cursed being person that he's helping, right? And the story is this guy's actually completely like, should we make it a guy or a girl? Let's make it a woman, right? This woman is actually, she's very she has all her abilities, like in terms of her mental faculties are clear. She can speak very clearly, but she's been horribly disfigured by a curse. And again, if we're trying to storytell, let's say the curse renders her unable to sleep, and that actually affects her body. I guess that's an interesting story. Okay. And then this is how she speaks, actually, right here. Because she's been fucked up, this is actually how she speaks, right? This entire apparatus actually is how she speaks. But we need to make that look interesting as well in terms of design, right? So the beautiful thing is you can just go over, and then I can just go over it again. And now that the fact that that line was there is hidden. Okay. This apparatus is how she speaks. And again, I'm really trying to think here. I'm really trying to think what exactly can be done. Right? This apparatus is how she speaks, and it's always good to have a story. Right? It's not bad. We'll add little form indications like this to hopefully just create some sort of visual interest, right? What do you guys think? How does this look so far? I feel as if I've actually done a pretty decent job, right? The now, because I've made such a giant thing, I genuinely have to figure out scale, right? That's gonna be really fun. Right? She's been horribly disfigured, and let's just say her eye is actually right here. Now that's actually pretty interesting, I think. How long has this been streaming going for? It's been in 93 minutes. Okay, so I have another half hour, and then after this, I'm gonna code. Wonderful, wonderful, right? Wait, how do you guys like this so far? I think it's actually coming out to be pretty interesting. Uh, like definitely, I feel as if it's coming out to be pretty interesting. But let's see. And again, a lot of medieval stuff has outlines, is what I've noticed, right? And the thing is, like, do you see how my words, right? My language is so vague. Like you hear that, right? Like it has outlines, it has bumps, it has grill marks. The difference is I have like as I continue to learn, I will learn about what these actually mean, right? Looks sick as hell. Thanks. I'm really liking how that head is turning out. Looks sick as hell. Yeah, see, this is what happens when you're thinking. Like, you see how it's probably taking me about half an hour to do this, but this is what happens when you're thinking, right? I'm really trying. This, a lot of things went wrong here yesterday, quote unquote wrong, even this, because I wasn't thinking, right? So it's all about patience. And patience is just, as Hormozy puts it, right? Alex Hormozy is doing something in the meantime. So the thing I'm doing in the meantime is thinking. Such a funny person I am. I'm so funny. Okay, we'll have the eyes here. I think that'd be pretty interesting. Like that's just a cop out because they just had to kind of stuff her body into this thing, right? And it's all about the box. Like at the end of the day, I'm really just trying to envision a little box. There you go. See, I don't know how to draw an eye, right? Like I actually don't know how to draw an like an anatomically accurate eye. But do you know Stephen Trevor's art? I do. I do. I have actually I'm subscribed to him. I really actually like many people, or I assume like many people, like we're all subscribed to people, but we only watch a few of them. Right? He's just one of the people I'm subscribed to because he's an art channel. And I've kind of watched a few minutes of his stuff here and there, but like I'm not really a fan. Like I can't be honest and be like I'm a huge fan. But I like his art and I subscribe because I'm like, you know what? At the very least, I like having this channel on my feed, right? Maybe one of them will catch my interest. So yeah, yeah, I do know of him. We should probably add some shadows here to indicate that like it's really deformed, right? And obviously this needs to be a lot thicker. I say obviously, but it's just what I think is obvious because it's overlap, right? And honestly, my values are starting to all look the same, so let's just darken this out because clearly this is where the real face is. So this is where I'm just practicing values. Oop, that's a mistake, right? Brushwork is subpar when it comes to thick lines, you know? So these are all going to be relatively mediocre, but I'm just going to keep trying to make some semblance of a sense out of it. Probably just make all that dark now. It doesn't make sense. Okay. I'm obviously trying to follow the form as well. I think that looks whatever. It looks fine. It doesn't look amazing, but it looks fine. Uh, there you go. Something like this. Right, so it's like kind of like things that are like sticking out. Maybe these can be fingernails instead, right? Like this what I mean, like it's horribly disfigured, right? That worked out. This could literally just be fingernails, right? So see, like it's just all over the fucking place, which is pretty cool. Which is pretty cool. Let's add some veins, right? And okay, I guess we're gonna leave it, connect it there. But obviously, I want to really, really bring to light like this specific eye, like these eyes, right? So giving them a little bit of weight probably help. Yeah, there you go. That looks pretty decent, right? And then random bullshit go. Brr. There you go. Now we're really focused on the fact that okay, there's clearly like some eyes here, right? Wonderful. Wunderbar in the Wunderbar, as I always say. Why do I say it? Shut up. Stop asking questions you don't want the answer to. But now we have to think about the design for this side without taking away that this is here, right? And I'm probably gonna end it at this. I'm probably gonna end it after this helmet design, I guess. I think I've actually accomplished a decent amount today. Uh, Pixel RJJ says, "How do you come up with all these wild ideas for drawing?" Just by trying. That's a super vague answer. Okay, how do I come up with these ideas? Well, specifically for this, right? It was like like I said, I kind of researched and practiced just the shape design for helmets, right? Again, it's all because of my understanding of form, right? Like everything here is just purely because of my understanding of form. So, and not that I've actually like I haven't really practiced bags or people or fireplaces or fucking logs, right? This just is ass anyways, or trees. I really haven't practiced that really that much. maybe like an hour max for especially like trees. I think I've practiced like an hour, and that's just from observation or yeah, or from like a picture reference, max an hour and a half, I believe. But the ideas come from my understanding and constant application of okay, like it's supposed to be symmetrical, and we're trying to create a story, and we're trying to oh, sorry, trouble. Yeah, I got distracted by the chat. Yeah, we're trying to create a story. Okay, like maybe there's things coming out of here. It just comes down to maybe this, maybe that, right? But the reason the maybe this, maybe that turns into something so believable is because my ability to draw believable forms and to constantly keep working on those forms, right? And again, everybody has their own personal touch in the sense that like we all have our own we have our own subconscious ideas which we're not aware of, right? So this is just one of them, right? Like where you may gravitate towards a different thing, and I may gravitate towards a different thing. And don't forget, I've been practicing a lot of hard surface design, or just a lot of complex design in general. So constantly, I'm just trying to think about, well, okay, like how many angles can I do this? How many spaces is it occupying in the beginning, right? It's just one angle. It's just okay. This thing is just in this plane, and I have to calculate this angle. Now this is really pretty intuitive because I did so much work in trying to calculate it. But then it's like, okay, like, but now is it going into this plane, right? Is it going into this plane, or is it going to or is it like is it a diagonal coming out this way, but then it's jutting out this way, but then it's coming back in? And the only way you'll have the ability to think about all those steps is when you practice one step a lot at a time, and then because you now have expended enough cognitive effort and it's become embedded as a skill, it's intuitive to just be like, okay, now I can relatively always on one plane make these like angle cutouts, right? Now it's like, okay, now because I don't have to allocate as much mental energy to doing that in general, what about the second space? Okay, we've done the x-axis. What about the y-axis? Right? Okay, what about the y-axis and it's also coming out and it's going diagonal? Okay, or maybe there's cutouts, subtractions, additions. So it's always like one step at a time. Okay, Troublado says, when you shaped it like a skirt, I thought it was some kind of a samurai hat. When you were starting, it looked like a JoJo stand. Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? My friends always say like they can see the JoJo inspiration, and dude, I literally have completely caught up to JoJo, right? I love that series. Well, I don't think I'm like super inspired by it at all, but clearly there's some inspiration, right? So it's a lot of it just comes down to, well, not a lot, but there's obviously a decent amount that comes down to just kind of what we as people end up liking or growing up to enjoy, right? We have to do take that into account. And I'm not even aware of that part of me, but my friends are, and they mention it. They do mention it. They're like, hey, that's pretty cool, man. I'm like, shut up, don't talk to me. And then that's the end of that. And that's how I'm lonely and don't have friends. But at least I have you guys, right? All seven, six of you, I believe, maybe nine, who knows? But okay, so that's clearly the eyes, and there's fingers coming out of there, which is obviously really creepy. Okay, we'll just make these vents, right? A lot of, and the samurai thing I understand because this right here is very samurai-esque, right? That's the shape design of samurai. Okay, so it's coming out like this. Yeah, that's the shape design of samurai stuff, you could say. And then, what do I want that to be? Wired function asks me, how do you hold forms and details in your mind? I can do with primitives at best, but they refuse to look decent. It is frustrating, man. Well, again, I would encourage you to turn the frustration into pleasure. Because when you associate frustration with trying something, your brain actively actually tries not to learn that thing because you're sending neurochemicals to that particular context that this is not something to enjoy and this is not something to pay attention to, right? But when you associate dopamine, i.e., just force feelings of good, your brain actually pays a lot more attention. You learn more efficiently. That's number one. I would really, it's a mindset, right? So I would really encourage you to respond with mistakes to just forcing feelings of good, however you do it, right? I literally just force a vague general feeling of like, oh, that feels so good every time I make a mistake, right? So you don't have to trust me, just trust in the neuroscience. And even if it doesn't work, it's still better for you to believe, to think that way in general. How do I hold complex forms in my head? Because I've done, again, if you look at that beginner video, I've done all the hundreds of hours required to hold simple forms in my head and a lot of them, right? And the goal is like, I don't hold all of it in my head. I'm just constantly trying to hold it in my head. And as you can see, I go very slowly. Like I take my time, right? I believe speed comes with experience, right? So like broken draws lines are much cleaner and much more fast than mine, but that's purely through experience and the neural pathways that are extremely efficient in making marks. But I hope that helps. I hold forms and details in my head because A, I'm kind of making it up as I go. I didn't hold all of this in my head, but I had a general idea. And if you were to look at the stream, you'd see that, hey, it took him a lot of time. He was just going slowly but surely. And every single time he kept asking, okay, what do I want to do here? Ooh, this is so difficult. Okay, what do I want to do here? Ooh, this is so difficult. And even while I'm doing it, I'm kind of just hashtag vibing it out, right? I'm just kind of feeling it out and seeing what works. And seeing what works, the nice aesthetic part of what happens when, like, the aesthetic nature of what is happening when I'm like seeing what works, like what makes it aesthetic is purely through sheer experimentation and just trying to think while I'm doing it, like, okay, what angles, what cutouts, what like shapes, everything kind of go well together. Like right now this is super crowded, so I know for sure I don't want this to be super crowded, so we're gonna leave this here. And this shape will just inform is just like some random, yeah, some random little thing there, right? We'll leave that there because we want the eye to be here. Literally, the eye to be here. But anyways, right? I do hope that helps, right? Again, you can only understand once you go through the experience of like number one, just really practice your forms, right? So I'll try it. Thank you. Yeah. You're saying you can do primitives at best, but they refuse to look decent. Well, first standard you hold yourself is make sure the primitives that you draw, no matter what, are pretty fucking much perfect. Perfection isn't the goal, but perfection is a standard that you hold yourself to as a means to evaluate, right? So evaluation, for example, right? Let me give you an example so you actually know what I mean when I say this. Let me move this shit to the side. I apologize. I do want to finish that, but I feel as if it's really, like, I can tell Wired Functor might be at a point where like he's struggling, and I feel as if I can help it become a turning point where he succeeds. So the precedent I'm going to set is, obviously, when you're doing any of this, only ever focus on the effort, only ever attach good feelings to the mistakes that you make, because you must just internalize that mistakes are how my brain learns, because that's an objective fact. The more mistakes you make, to the best of your ability, where you don't try to make it, but the more mistakes you make and the more you recognize mistakes and attach good feelings to them, the better you're going to learn. That's the precedent I'm setting for anybody watching this now, in the future, whatever, okay? Whenever you practice anything, right? But now we're going to talk about the forms, right? He's saying I can draw, he or she, I think, no, it's a guy. He's saying they refuse to look decent. I can do it with primitives at best. So right now, let's just say your forms are like this, because you said they look decent, right? This fucking pen's pissing me off, but whatever. Let's say this is what you can do. You're trying to make a perfect box, right? You're trying to make, quote unquote, a perfect box or a good box, but like kind of that's what you're doing, right? Let's just say that's just what you're doing. Maybe it's more, maybe it's less, but let's just say when you're trying to make a box, that's what you're doing. But but all that matters, okay? All that matters when you're doing that is to the utmost of your ability, you're thinking about this. Because thinking while applying this is extremely difficult, right? So all that matters to the best of your ability is you're thinking about this. I understand this is extremely difficult, by the way, because trying to keep lines in your mind that are parallel, again, if you look at that beginner drawing video, you'll see it was just hours and hours and hours of trying to do that. And then over enough effort, I did do that, right? Okay, so I think that is like the type of box it makes. So that's what I mean. Like, you are consistently trying to, like, when you make the box, you think of this. You think parallel line. This is the distance I want. There's so many things you have to think about. You have to think about the distance. You have to think about the lines themselves going parallel or slightly converging. And you have to think about 3 more planes, right? You have to think about you have to think about 1, 2, 3, right? That is a lot. In the beginning, for months on end, that was a lot, right? But that's the goal. Right now, the first goal is literally just, I'm going to see this. I'm going to make sure that I constantly see the parallel lines, and I constantly can measure relatively to the best of my ability the proportions. But these dotted lines are what you're visualizing. And then when you're applying, right? Let's say the next time you're like, okay, I'm really going to try, right? And you try seeing that. Let me get another sticker, because I feel as if that image should be there for clarity's sake, right? That is what you're trying, right? Fucking dude, I'm so disorganized. My pens and shit, I don't know where to put them. Okay, so that is what you're trying to do. And let's say for the next 100 repetitions, okay? The next 100 intentional repetitions where you're really trying, right? 100 repetitions. There's no time limit. It doesn't matter how long you take. What matters is that you're thinking really hard and you're trying to apply, right? So you're thinking about this while trying to apply. You're thinking about it, right? You're really trying to think about it. And then while you're doing it, you're also trying to think about it. That is 2 very difficult skills. Let's set that precedent, or like let's make that very clear. Those are 2 very difficult skills. And then you try to add proportion onto it. Also a very difficult skill, right? So it's very difficult. What does that mean? That means you need to put a lot of effort in, right? So when you apply it, you're like, okay, Viggy said, really, really try it, right? I'm gonna try to see that, and it's fucking ass. Like objectively, you're trying and it's ass, right? Like even just visualizing, you keep noticing that like, oh god, like I keep seeing one line that way and one line that way and one thing like it, but you're trying, right? So now even when you're failing doing that, you just keep telling yourself, this is good, this is amazing, this is I'm literally learning better this way, right? And then when you apply, right? Oh, look, it's slightly better, right? It's slightly better. I actually made this too good. Fuck, I made it a bit too good. But let's just say this was like that, and this was like this. There you go. I made it a bit too good. But now you're like, okay, so clearly, and then you evaluate, right? You're like, okay, so this and this are almost the same, but slightly off because this is the actual line. And that's why you have to really, really analyze and be like, can I notice the fucking millimeters of difference, right? These two are pretty good. These two are pretty good. But this and this, because that's when you practice the grid lines, right? Like, okay, this is going like this, and then this is going like that. So clearly one of them needs to change. And the answer is right now, this one needs to change, right? This one. And then same thing, right? And that's just constant effort. I think this is what puts beginners off. So many don't want to do this because boredom. Well, that's the thing, right? It's not boredom. It's difficult, right? If it was boring, you'd be able to do this 100 times over perfectly, right? If it was boring, you'd be able to do it 100 times over perfectly. It's not boredom. I think education system are just, there's some, and artists in general, the artists preceding like before us have fucked you guys because they keep telling you the fundamentals are boring. That's not true. Okay, they need to restate it being like the fundamentals are an essential skill which is very difficult and takes a lot of cognitive effort, and therefore it is stimulating and it will teach you how to learn and it will teach you how to consistently get better at putting effort in, right? That is what the fundamentals are for any skill. That is what any skill is, you know. So yeah, so that's what I want to clarify. So, wired functor. When you do the next 100, 200, 300 repetitions and like vary it, right? Okay, try like make different size boxes. Try putting them in the same space. Also a completely different skill. Putting a box in the same space means, hey, if you want to put a box here, that means you have to see the grid line like this. You have to see this, then you have to see this, right? Oh, look, because you have to make sure that it's aligned, right? It's parallel. You have to see that. And then you have to come back down here. And let's say you want to be a smaller box. You have to come back down here. You have to see this. You have to see this. You have to see this. All while trying to zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. You have to see all of that and keep it parallel. And it's like, okay, now I'm gonna try my best, try my best, try my best. I'll keep repeating that, try my best, and I'm gonna inevitably make mistakes. You're gonna be like, oh shit, I completely lost it. And those are the moments where you just force a feeling of like, fuck yeah, I made a fucking mistake. That was amazing. Because that's when your brain's like, dude, pay attention. There's specific chemicals, acetylcholine, norepinephrine, and then something else, right? That's being associated with that feeling. And it's like, okay, pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. Also, after you're done learning or like your practice bout, don't go on your phone. Don't do anything. Just rest your brain for like 5, 10 minutes. Go on a walk. Don't listen to anything. Okay? Because there's something called after you do a learning bout or intense focus, your brain plays everything you did backwards. Why backwards? We don't know, but it expedites the learning process, right? And then you do this because you couldn't fucking keep it in at all. And then you do this, and you're like, bro. But you don't say bro. You say bro. Okay, so like now I know my weaknesses. Now I know that when I'm just trying to zoom out, now I know like this is my limit for the grid. But I hope that helps. I hope that helps, right? I can only, I will say this as much as possible because it's literally the answer, okay? All the other bullshit any of you have in your head about like, oh, blah, 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 this, that, no. It's just visualization, especially when it comes to line form and perspective. I want to be very clear. There's probably nuance to it when it comes to other skills or skills within the fundamentals, right? Beyond what I just said, line form and perspective. But when it comes to that, that is literally your biggest ROI. Is just fucking trying your hardest to see that, you know? So I hope that helped. Please let me know if that made sense. It really just comes down to you try to visualize to your standard of perfection, right? You will fail many times, which is amazing. You'll make many mistakes trying to visualize. You'll make many mistakes trying to visualize and apply, right? And then you can just take a step back and be like, okay, what do I really need to focus on visualization and applying, right? And then you'll have your own answers. You'll have your own answers. Be like, okay, that is off to that is off to that, this, that, blah, blah, blah. And then you just try those, just those same few things over and over and over and over. Okay, so let's see. I think this is what puts beginners off. So many don't want to do this because it's boredom. I answered that. Pixel Art said, true. I think my problem is that I'm too good at boxes, so it kind of burns me out. I need to do something more difficult for dopamine. Exactly. Intersect your boxes. Put many boxes in the same space. Vary the size. Do again those box and cylinder clusters in my beginner. This video is for beginner artist video. Look at that. Do that. Do that. Okay, that will fucking bitch slap you, and you'll be like, oh my god, that's amazing. There's another skill. There's another layer that I can just push myself toward. I actually think you should do that. Okay. Sometimes I just sit and mindlessly draw boxes when I probably did a million boxes at this point. See, that's the key word right there that everybody should avoid. I'm not, giving you shit or whatever, right? Because you acknowledge it, pixel art. But yeah, mindless is not the key. Intentional, deliberate practice, right? Anytime you want to get better at something, intentional, deliberate practice. Okay? Deliberate being trying to focus as much as you can, trying to think as much as you can, trying to apply while thinking as much as you can, right? Very, very, very difficult. But that is intentional, that's focus, and that is what will expedite your learning process. Let's see. Troubledo says, try to build a scene with objects at the correct one in perspective. And then he says it's cool. Wired Functor, who I was just helping right now, said, thank you so much for the detailed explanation. So the key is doing it step by step. I was greedy to do too many things at once. Exactly, exactly. Remember, not even just for beginners, but for anybody learning anything at any stage, in terms of actually like thinking, we can only really hold about 3 to 4 things at once, right? My goal is to try to hold 6 to 7 things in my mind at once. But when I inevitably fail, I feel good. My brain learns to just do more and just really focus on trying to do more, right? But really, you can only hold 3 to 4 things in your mind at once. So 3 to 4 things as a beginner when it comes to boxes, line, form, perspective is just literally visualizing those simple forms, right? And then applying while visualizing, right? That's it. And those are 2 very difficult skills, so multiple sub-skills in them, such as pen pressure, consistency, right? Consistent, the parallel lines, also or slightly converging lines within each plane. Visualizing the horizon line. Visualizing the horizon line while thinking about a fucking box is super fucking difficult. Months and months and months of just trying to do that to halfway decent proficiency. Now I don't even think about the horizon line unless I need to, because if I want to, I can see it immediately, right? But that is the skill. Like, it's still there in your mind. But yeah. Yeah, I hope that helped. Honestly, dude, it's been 2 hours. I actually gotta pray. It's 5:58. I usually pray at 6. So I might actually have to call. I guess I apologize that I couldn't finish the helmet, but I felt it was more important to help and to set people's perspectives, mindsets, and approaches and understandings more on the path of realism, right? Like grounding it. We're trying to and try to explain as much as I can. But hey, I think this was a great session. I drew the fucking tree. I finished his leg, right? And I drew the helmet. So absolutely nothing got done. But art takes time, so it's what it is, right? I'm very grateful that many of you were here to watch, listen, draw along, hopefully, right? And at the same time, this was a great session. Yeah, I really tried. So that's the thing. At the end of the session, at the start of the session, I said I want to try. That's my goal, and I'm going to think about composition and really try. And now I'm really, really proud of myself, and because I'm not proud of the outcome. I don't give a shit about any of this and what it looks like. I am proud of the effort and the mistakes I made. I'm proud of the effort I put in. I'm proud of the fact that I tried to put as much effort as possible while not making that many mistakes. I can objectively say I was thinking like 70% of the time today, 60 to 70% of the time, and I'm building the skill of talking while drawing. And y'all know I fucking talk fast as shit. So I'm very proud of the effort that I put in, and I hope everyone here, no matter where you are, whether it's like currently watching or in the future, I hope you always end every session. And the only metric you measure yourself by is like, did I put effort in? If the answer is yes, but I could have put more, that's okay. If the answer is no, but I could have put more, that's fine too. Because at the end of the day, you're like, I did put effort in to the best of my ability, right? And being able to be honest with yourself as to what that ability, that standard is, and what you did, and being like, okay, so that means I can do more. At the end of any learning session, if you come out and be like, I put a lot of effort in, and I could have done more, that's amazing, because that means you can do more. That means you've increased your threshold for doing, right? So hashtag the inspires, right? Anyways, let's see. Pixel Art says W stream. Troubled says for real. Raging Yogurt says holy. That's insane, man. I don't know what you're saying holy to. Maybe this is a newcomer, right? Thank you. I appreciate it. If you're talking about the art, I appreciate it. But you came at the horrible time because I'm about to wrap up. Watch the entire stream. Give me retention, subscription, like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. So, do you know Steve Sketches? I do not. But I'll check him out now that you mentioned it. Steve Sketches, let me write that down. I'm gonna fucking forget. I'm gonna 100% forget. So with this brush pen that is supposedly new, but literally has not been fucking working with me whatsoever, let me write down Steve Sketches. Right? Steve Sketches. This is the good part about the stream where I'm doing anything but drawing. Ta-da! I'm gonna throw this in the trash right after the stream. You're welcome. But oh, let me just do one thing. This is for my thumbnail, by the way. Everybody knows now, hopefully, right? Let me oh fuck, man, I have to wait for the goddamn stream to not lag because it's like a 15-second delay. It's behind. So yeah, how are you all doing? Is everybody happy? Happy is the wrong word. Is everybody grateful for the effort that they put in? I'm just gonna keep, I guess, regurgitating the same shit. I have nothing to say. I'm just waiting for the stream to catch up. Okay, it's centered. No, it needs to be slightly more to the right. Wonderful. Okay. Oh, I literally just need to do this. This is what I need to do because this is for the thumbnail. So my thumbnail is like I'm drawing the thing, right? And because I move around so fast, especially during these live streams, it's hard to get it. There you go. Perfect. Now that's my thumbnail. Now I can edit it or screen cap the video and get my thumbnail. That's my low effort, by the way. I literally just screen cap the video and then I put it as my thumbnail with the shit in the fucking the text in the foreground. But okay, check the link. I want to see what you think of his art. What link? I didn't get a link, but I'll just Google him. Steve Sketches. Dude, my laptop is ooh. Steve Sketches. He has a website too. This is awesome. This guy's definitely a character designer. Great fundamentals, great lighting, very stylistic. Right. This is just my first impression right now. Concept art. Let's see. Oh yeah, amazing fundamentals. Look at that. Look at his concept art shit, bro. Holy shit. Thanks. You just gave me somebody else to what's it called? To follow. Thank you. Steve Sketches, fucking incredible. Amazing artist, excellent draftsman, right? I appreciate it. Thank you. Pixel art, JJ. Yes, JJ. Okay, so I'm done with the stream now. I hope you guys liked the drawings. I hope you guys liked the conversations. I appreciate every single one of you for whoever, the silent ones who are listening, the silent ones who are watching, the vocal ones who are watching and commenting, right? I appreciate all of you, right? We're all hashtag Viggy famming. We're hashtag Viggy famming everywhere, right? I'm Viggying so hard right now, right? That stuff. And he streams on Twitch a lot as well. I don't go on Twitch. So, and I honestly don't go on the internet apart from, like, in general, I try to not consume as much content as possible, right? Like, within my means, apart from when I'm eating. But, yeah, that was good. That was a good stream. We're probably gonna make this a bit more readable. This is gonna be a really good challenge because I have all this space to create a person, a larger person, and it'll have to look realistic. So this is the best part because now I can really foreshorten his body, or sorry, foreshorten her body, and make it grounded in the space. Yeah. Okay. Cool. But thanks, bro. See you next time. Yep. Thanks. See you, Cal Bishop. It was nice. But yeah, thank you to everybody who listened and watched. At the end of the day, right? You can draw. You just gotta put the effort in. I'll try my best to repeat all the things you need to put effort in, at least when it comes to like the boxes and shit. But I really implore you, watch this videos for beginner artists. Actually, don't watch, listen to it, and then glance at it every now and then because it's a long video. I would like to respect your time in that sense, right? Even though I completely don't, and it's a long ass video, but I tried to be honest about my progress. So if you look at it again, if at any stage your art or your if at any stage in that video, if you could skip around, if at any stage in that video your ability with boxes and cylinders looks like that part of the video, watch the next like 10-15 minutes. This is how this is how you get retention. But no, watch the next 10-15 minutes and be like, oh shit, okay, so it just took another 30 pages of extreme intent and focus to get like 10% better, right? Or like let's not say 20, yeah, 20 pages, which is like basically what, 30 hours, 40, 50 hours. So keep that in mind. If there's anything you should keep in mind, if any of you are like interested in how you can challenge yourself with your perspective, that with just super basic perspective, that is how. But Pixel Art says, how do you have discipline not to go on the internet? But lol, I'm addicted to YouTube and Twitch. For me, like, knowledge is power, right? So the more I know something is bad for me, the more I do my absolute fucking best to ensure that that thing bad for me is controlled within my time, right? I don't consume short form content. That's the biggest thing, right? And again, like a skill like art literally teaches you to unfuck your brain, right? The better you get at being able to focus and draw, the better you get at being able to completely ignore all the other bullshit. Again, why do you think everything I'm learning requires immense amount of effort and focus? Coding, piano, drawing, lifting. I mean, lifting I'm not learning. I'm fucking 10 years in, so it's just something I do and I got better at, whatever. But the point is, like, I try to learn as many skills that have an infinitely high skill gap, right? Like, or like a ceiling. You know, piano is like an infinite skill. Art is an infinite skill. There's too much nuance. Coding is a pretty fucking high tier, like very, very high level of knowledge and path you can go on, right? There's a lot of things. So yeah, that's how it's just I've consistently, especially and art is the skill, by the way. Art is the number one skill back in 2023, which taught me that I can learn, right? Difficult things. And everything catapulted off of that. And I didn't do everything one after the other. I did art for a year, then I did piano, and now I'm here. And just like a month ago, I started coding. So just it's all sequential and it takes time, but it's less about discipline. Like discipline is a huge part of it, but Personally, for me, when I know something works, it's like I was 17. I'm like, working out is gonna make me jacked, and it's gonna improve my fucking life quality. Having muscle makes you have a lot more energy, right? And you can be lean, you'll be facially aesthetic, and it'll just improve your life quality in literally every single aspect of your life. Okay, I'm gonna spend the next 10 years just getting jacked, and now obviously it's a long term thing, so my entire lifetime will be fitness. But that's and before that, I was a complete loser. I used to fucking jack off 3 times a day. I used to watch, like porn all the time. I used to just only watch fucking YouTube all the time, right? So like, let it be, I want to be very clear. Like, I was a complete fucking loser, right? And I don't say that in a mean way, right? I don't say that in a mean way to anybody listening or watching who feels called out, or to me. But it's like objectively, like I had nothing going for me. But because I have nothing going for me, that means I have everything that I can have going for me, and I have nothing to lose, right? We can just start from a baseline and just keep improving. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm hashtag relatable. I was just a waste man like you. But anyways, right? We believe in you, Wired Functor. Yes, I think Wired Functor's talking to Pixel Art. Yes, we believe in you. We 100% believe in you. But the main thing is you have to train yourself to believe in yourself, which is the effort that you put in, right? Like believing in yourself, if you can't believe yourself if you don't have evidence. So the evidence is the effort you put in, right? So every single day when you put effort into something, that's literally the reinforcer that you can get better, right? And it's going to be marginal, but marginal progress is the only progress you should ever want. Because if you make fast progress, your mind. Most people who make fast progress in anything stop at one point because they know they can make fast progress. Like when you know you can get good at something fast, you don't give a shit about getting good at that thing. But when you actually have to put in all the work to become mediocre slowly, you value yourself and the effort you put in and the accomplishments you've made through the effort a lot more, right? But yeah, I'm only 3 years in charge, by the way. Let's see what 30 years looks like. Let's go, right? I'm 17 and I started doing calisthenics. Top tier, let's fucking go. Joining the sick looks maxing and black pill community helped me in some way. Yeah, there's a lot of shit in there that's like horrible for your mindset, right? Which is just like give up and die, genetic determinism. But if there's one thing I think you can take away from that community is just everybody can improve themselves. Everybody can improve themselves, right? But I would suggest to actually stray away and like just completely stay away from the discussion forums and everything. Like if you know what you know and you know you need to improve yourself, go into the improving yourself part. Completely fucking ignore like everything else, right? Because hard work is the goal. Hard work is very valuable. Anyways, I need to fucking eat. Fuck all you guys and girls. The 7.2% who are apparently women, right? But fuck every single one of you. I'm gonna leave. Goodbye. Have a good day. Right. As always, fuck you for watching. Keep drawing, and please give me money. I have to end the stream. I used to feel insecure about my face, and now there are people who think I'm handsome. Wonderful. I think you're handsome too, Troubledos1, right? I have nothing else to say. I'm ending the stream, bro. Fuck this. Everybody have a good day. Everybody have a good day. Oh, fuck. I'm on the wrong app. God damn it.